of a sudden a suitcase appears, like wasn't part of the accident, and is in the road with baby clothes. Our driver still doesn't know if a baby or a child was injured. Nobody was taken to the hospital. Nobody was anything like that. They dispatched several cops. There was like 15, he said. The whole scenario was so strange. And I was just at a seminar in Vegas, and they were talking about how you have two cars that do this bait and switch. And I don't know if this is what this is. They did not give him a ticket there. He went and did his drug alcohol. Can he drive tomorrow, or does he have to wait the full 24 hours?
No. So number one, he was driving. These vehicles stopped in front of him, and we hit the car.
Yes.
And
the back window broke open, and then what was interesting is they had to finish the mail route, so another truck came and they picked up the trailer, and they were finishing it. When they were coming back from Point, they saw those two cars in tandem again driving south, and they were going like 40 miles an hour again.
Doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing, but going south versus north.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the police let him go.
And that's not an uncommon thing for two people to try, and they're all watching, and they all say,
the police are?
No, what I'm saying is the people in the cars,
Okay.
they all watch the driver. And if they see anything that distracts him, they say now. So like the people in the back seat are staring at your driver. They're up in front. They just keep staying in front of truckers until they see the trucker do anything with his head. And the second he does this, they say now. And then they hit the brakes at the exact time someone else watched him look the other way. So if he reached down, that's what they do.
Yeah, okay.
And the thing is, you have to somehow prove it.
He covered the inside camera that watches him, but the outside camera was still visible. Yep. I just don't have the video.
So when you look at the outside camera leading up to the accident, you have to see whether or not these people in the back seat look like they're coaching. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Normally you'd see a guy just driving down the road, you see the back of their heads. If they're doing this in the camera, and then right when he looks away, they just do, because they'll say...
Well, he's so upset because he's like, I still don't know if there were kids in there because that's what the guy was telling me. And what did
Well, the police came, so we'll know all the occupants in the crash report.
Okay.
So there
this
is no...
the crash report.
Yeah, there is no possibility...
They did not give him a ticket yet. Will they give him a ticket?
Well, here's the thing. Maybe not. And just to talk this through, forgive those. Nobody died, right?
No, everybody was okay. Everybody drove away.
You see these two tests, you should not have done them yet. Because it's not legal to do them, technically.
Julie told me I had to have it done.
Nah, we won't even talk right now.
Okay.
So, if someone dies, you do those.
It was a towable, though. His truck had to be towed.
Okay. So, if someone dies, you do those. There's three scenarios. Someone dies, you do it. Second scenario, if there's injuries treated away from the scene, there was no ambulance, no one got taken away, correct?
The ambulance came, but nobody was taken away.
Perfect. So that is not a DOT accident. So we just leave that one off. Disabling damage requiring a tow. We drove away?
We did not. The truck had to be towed. Another truck came in.
So what happened to our truck?
It was towed to Fox Valley.
But what was the physical damage? Was the radiator?
Yes.
All right. So our vehicle sustained disabling damage.
Yes.
Now, that's a DOT accident now. Did our driver get a citation for a moving violation yet?
No.
Then you do not test yet.
Okay.
It's a DOT crash. It's going to go on our CSA. We can try to make an argument. This whole bait and switch thing's a different topic than the one I'm on right now.
Yeah.
We rear-ended someone. It had disabling damage. It's a DOT crash. It goes on our CSA. But you do not test every DOT crash. You do not. You only test a DOT crash if someone died or if our driver receives a ticket. So if I call our driver right now, did you get a ticket yet? And he says no, then we don't do the test yet.
Okay.
Right?
Julie didn't know that, I don't think.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to email you this too.
Okay.
We need, and I love this. Every time we spend time together, we learn more and more. So this is good stuff. That's why we do it. And I like our visits up here. It's better than Zoom. So you see this DOT accident testing guide right here. What do you do when an accident occurs? You secure the scene, put triangles out, check for injuries, call 911, contact, location, injuries. These are all things you should do. Do not admit guilt. Don't say anything to the officer ever. All names and phone numbers. Take photos of all these things And here's the chart. What determines a DOT reportable crash? Did someone die? Was there disabling damage? If so, did the driver receive a citation? Was anyone transported? If so, did the driver receive a citation? So here's the post-accident testing. Type of accident, boom, boom, boom. You need post-accident and a fatality, but injury or tow-away, you have to have a citation. If a citation, yes, then yes. If a citation, no, then no. See that chart?
I see it. You're sending me this, right?
100%.
Then I can send it to our drivers too for the first page at least. Jeez.
Yep, and then now we talk about documentation. If this crash happened at noon, and he don't receive a ticket in the mail until tomorrow, then more than 8 hours has passed. Then you just document no alcohol was done because he didn't receive a ticket until after the 8th hour, and put it on company letterhead. This talks about the documentation you need to capture.
Okay.
Then in 32 hours, if he gets a ticket in the mail 2 days later, and we say he received the ticket at the 48th hour, 32 hours had passed, we didn't do either test. If he hangs up and gets a ticket, so that's why this last sentence is here. Advise driver before you hang up. After you hang up, if someone dies and you receive a citation, call us back immediately. The reason we have that yellow one is, when I hang up with the driver, did you get a ticket? No. Do you understand if you get one, you need to call me right back? The reason he needs to call me back is because once he gets a ticket...
Julie.
Hold on a second.
Yep, that's all good.
I had to pay the difference, I guess. There was more damage that they found on the vehicle. So I will send that. Yeah, and I guess I didn't have to get Brian Edwards drug tested because he still didn't receive a citation. So we actually didn't have to get him tested.
Not
But
yet.
John,
He was towed. That's a towable DOT.
no, if the citation wasn't issued, we do not have to do a drug test. I'm looking at the paperwork with John right now.
You will have this. It's okay.
He's sending it to you too.
Well, how's he sending it to me? I can't get it.
Well, I mean, it'll be in our records going forward. All right.
Okay. Well, we just got to our gate, and they're going to board us in about 10 minutes.
Sounds
so I
good.
better call now.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yep.
Yep, bye.
Bye.
So this is just a nice document to put in
It
there.
is.
Keener, I sent you this in Word,
Okay.
so you can take the Reliance off the top of it,
Perfect.
put Trucking Winds on top of it, whatever. What an honor.
Are you still with Reliance then, or
Yep.
you're so busy? All right, so he didn't
Busy, I'm
die.
sitting here with you right now.
Yeah, that's after we had to have a talk or come to Jesus together when you don't
You know,
answer your phone.
No, you're right. I'm answering now. You're one of my favorite people, honestly.
Let's talk about, so if the driver gets a call and somebody died or they get a citation, then they call us immediately.
Mhm.
Otherwise, this is our protocol, period.
Yep.
All right.
Because, and here's the thing, if in doubt, do the test. Because when you get a knock on the review from the feds, not doing a test is critical, can give you a bad rating and fines and penalties. Doing a test when you're not supposed to isn't critical. The problem with doing a test when you're not supposed to,
Is you're omitting guilt?
no,
Oh.
doing a test when you're not supposed to, the driver could sue you. Because you have no legal right to submit him to that test.
Oh, really?
Because the DOT says this is when you can test him. And we actually told him to go do a test outside our regulatory authority,
True.
technically. Now you can put in your policy an optional provision. Every crash with value damage more than 5,000 requires a non-DOT test. Then you would have sent him for a non-DOT. You can do those based on your company policy.
Okay.
But you can't do a DOT based on company policy.
Okay.
It has to be non-DOT. But then that's why that sentence is at the bottom of there. Advise the driver if he gets a ticket after we hang up, gotta call me back.
Okay.
Because I don't want him to hang up with me and then 2 minutes later the officer says, here's your ticket, and then we find out 3 days later.
Okay, so then I just have to submit this accident to West Bend, but then
Mhm.
I just wait and see? Or do you think the police kind of know that this is fucked up? Or like,
No, you submit it immediately, and in your submission you think that it was a setup.
it's suspicious, yeah.
And then West Bend will start to investigate that immediately.
Okay.
They may have the opportunity to do some investigative research through their claims investigative part to find out if these people have 13 truck crash judgments against them.
Okay.
Under open records and things like that, they can ask for that with discovery from any attorneys or anything else. Because if they start trying to sue us, they have to equally provide discovery on these people.
Okay.
Right? So I would absolutely communicate it to West Bend and go from there. And then the video footage, don't just focus on the fact that our driver hit him. Focus on the actions of the people in the car.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because it was a black SUV,
Yeah, it
black,
might have-
blacked out windows,
yeah, you might not see them then.
and so.
So the only way to really truly prove that this is the case is we have to find information that this has occurred with the same people of elsewhere. Now, one way to do that is to find their names and go look on their social media.
Just let West Bend a little investigated.
Yeah,
They
West
have
Bend
any
will check it.
inkling
Okay,
that
I
you guys
just have to.
anything there?
Well, I only because of just how Brian was talking about it. It was just like the whole thing was crazy. I mean, he hit them. He's like, no doubt, I hit them in the back, but nothing occurred other than the window broke. But then all of a sudden, the suitcase came out of nowhere with these baby clothes, and they kept yelling about these straps to
Oh,
strap down the
God.
grandbabies. And he's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing was just.
Yeah.
It was
Unreal.
bizarre.
It was so bizarre, and the cop kept saying too that the guy started to grab the cop, and the cop is like, "Whoa,
Don't touch me.
you
dude.
need to unhand yourself right now from
Right.
this situation." I mean, it just everything was escalating,
Yeah.
and then more police came, and it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's just so odd.